Welcome to the Christmas episode of No Shame. I'm proud to say today that we have probably the most famous guest that we've ever had on, Santa Claus.
Thanks,
man, I am starstruck here.
Right. Well, I'm starstruck as well because I've seen what the work you've done and the effort you've put in over the years and the struggle and the pain you've went through, and it's really great because you are an ad for all young people from ordinary working class areas that they can make it to the top if they believe in themselves and believe in their dream. So well done to you too.
Santa, you're going to make me cry here. But I remember writing letters to you from my little house in Jobstown, and I remember some of the times you used to give me this stuff. I remember I wrote one year about a tent. I wanted you to give me a tent, and you came and you set the tent up in my sit room. And I remember coming down that morning and being absolutely like, that was probably one of the most happiest I've been in my life. One of the happiest times of my childhood. So,
well, Paddy, I tell you something. Though Santa is all part of the magic, your mammy and daddy were a big part of that magic, and your uncles and your grannies, and they're the ones that make Christmas really, because they make Santa, they make him know what Paddy needs, and they make sure that the spellings are right and the cards are sent and posted. And it's them, when Santa has to race off, they're the ones that are busy, but they don't always admit it because they give the benefit to me, but they're really the ones that are the heroes in the story of Christmas.
I've never really thought of it like that, to be honest. I'd have to ask you, like, how does Christmas come about? How did it all start?
Well, Christmas is really, it's very much a part of the Christian tradition. Christmas was about, well, one, it's about the birth of Christ. And it's the belief that, you know, that God come back into the world, that God is interested and gave us the biggest present ever was his son. And his son then is Jesus Christ. Now that is the essence of it. But what's built on that then is that Christmas is not about presents, little boxes and squares. It's about presents. So for presents, for you to be present with your family, for presents. Your family's presents. That's what it's about, and some people get mixed up in it. But it's really about presents. So we're all together and having a good time. Even the tough families, there are families in this country that I've noticed over the years that have ended up homeless or have ended up in hotels and B&Bs. But whereas they may have nothing, but at this time of the year, they have one another. They have just is a presence for each other, you know, and then everything will fall in with that.
I have to ask you, Father, because we have someone over here, and I don't know if he's ever been on your naughty list, but he should be. A lad named Leo Radko. He said to he came out and said about the kids, these kids you're talking about in the hotels, about saying that that you would definitely find out where they were.
Well, wait till I tell you. I've been up in Lugwoods for the last few weeks, and I've been checking the lists and checking it twice, and I can assure you that Leo Varadkar is way up there on the naughty list. And he'll be staying there because, in essence, like what's after happening, I find coming back to Ireland, and I've been coming back, like Christmas have been celebrated through St. Nicholas from around the 4th century. And if any of you want to see what the real St. Nicholas is like, go into the Liberties in Dublin, into the church St. Nicholas and Myra, and that's where St. Nicholas, that's where it all begins. And very much in Russia, St. Nicholas is celebrated there, and he was bringing presents around to people that, you know, that he'd heard that were in bad ways or in tough times, and he wanted to lighten their load by giving them a present. Right. Now, I've been coming here. Do you know that, and this is very hard to believe, but like when I was back here in Black 47, and that was black and it was tough, and Black 48 and after that. But today when I come, there's more people homeless in Ireland today than was back in Black 47. So where is Mr. Varadkar as leader of the Irish? What's he doing about this? And I tell you, he's not doing enough. Not enough bold corner.
Maybe we should vote you in, Sandow.
Well, I don't know. Well, why not?
You would
why
get
not?
my vote for
I
sure.
tell you, and I tell you, there would be a hell of a good list because there's like Do you know one of the fears I have in flying over Ireland? If I slipped on the sleigh or slipped off and got a bang, sure, I'd end up in Tala Hospital on a trolley and Christmas would be cancelled. Wouldn't that be dreadful?
We'd have to make a film about saving Christmas.
Well, we'll have to do an Irish version.
We would have.
On all the hospitals from Tralee to Tala to Galway and wherever, you know. People on trolleys coming up to Christmas and families worried about it and their parents and elderly people. So it's wrong. It's wrong.
It's so wrong. Can I get a 100% reassurance off you, because I know some of these kids that would live in hotels and hubs and stuff like that you will work with their mums and their dads and their aunties and their uncles, and that not one of them kids will be left behind.
Not only with their mums and their dads, who are already working very hard and already, you know, bringing their story to the door of the corporations and the county councils who have the responsibility to house them, but also with the likes of Father McVerry, the likes of Alice Leahy in Trust, the likes of all the homeless groups, the Dublin homeless groups, the people that are out, that they are there making sure that there will be presents and little boxes of presents. Yes. Because what Christmas does, it brings the best out in everyone, and that's what we want. But like Elvis, remember Elvis? He used to say, Elvis. Why can't Elvis every day be like Christmas? And that's the motto that we need to bring to this country. Every day, Christmas Day.
You mentioned Elvis. What was Elvis like when he was a little boy?
Well, he was all shook up. I know he was good. No. Great fella, great old fella to sing a song, an old gospel song or whatever. No, he was very,
always
very
on the good list, was he?
He wasn't. Towards the end, he was eating too many burgers and French fries. He wasn't into the healthy living that you'd be proposing for.
I love a bit of healthy living now. Since retirement, I've changed a little bit. So obviously there'll be little boys and girls out there facing hard situations, difficult times, and situations that when the fear comes, but after that there's always a better reward for it. So when you are facing the task of becoming Santa Claus, like what did you first feel or expect?
Well, I tell you something, like even coming down here from Lugwood today and coming in and having a look around your gym and what have you, the messages are there all around the place. You look for the hero within inside yourself. God, we could make that into a song.
Oh, you know? A song.
But that's what you have to look at. And you have to believe. Because if you believe and believe strong enough and work hard enough and stay focused, you know, it can be achieved. So right, Christmas is a hell of a challenge. But look, every mom and dad, every uncle and aunt, every sister and brother, every friend and neighbour, all come together, put up lights, put up Christmas trees, put up tinsel, all to banish the darkness and to bring in light.
And that's
what it's about. It's about bringing the Christmas tree into the house, the light box, people suffering from depression. You light up the place, you know, you light a candle. Don't curse the darkness, just light the candle.
There's a personal kind of story. So a priest that I've mentioned on this many times, Father Martin, yesterday he took the initiative. Now he's a chaplain from his school, a lovely man. He's Father Martin, his name. He's from Newry originally. He went down to the graveyard yesterday. He did with people, because people will have lost people around this time of the year, so it's not always a happy time of year for people. So, but he did this as a memory to them. So he went down. He said he gave out 200 candles yesterday, and he asked people to go to their house, and on Christmas Eve, the person that they came to visit and remember that day, he gave them the candle to light on Christmas Eve, and say that will represent their spirit on Christmas Eve on that day. And it's a man like that would make me realise, and men like yourself that are like, there's true goodness still in the world.
But there's more goodness in the world than badness.
I think so.
It's just that the attention goes on the bad things.
Yeah.
You know, so we hear again and again the bad things, but look at all the good. For instance, here we are in Tala. You know, if anything goes wrong, you'd hear about the negatives in Tala. So there's a car crash or there's some fella stealing a car. There's 80 football teams in Tala go out every day. Every weekend. There's Thomas Davis's, there's St. Mark's, there's all the soccer clubs, all of those. Now, who's washing the kit? Who's drying the kit? Who's taking the kids out and training them? Who's taking them for the walks up the mountains? Who's checking out that the river dodders kept clean? Who's organising all that? Do they get any attention? Very, very little. Look at the Kamak and all the work. They got an award there for the work they did down on the Kamak. Gathering up rubbish and stuff like that and putting it away and bagging it and doing it. That's all voluntary effort. The voluntary people that do the work in this country, you know, that's what it's about. And as I say, like around the world, we pull it together for Christmas. You know, well, I tell you, I've been up in Lugwood for the last month or so.
Incredible place, Lugwood, as well.
Absolutely
what they do up there is amazing, isn't it?
Look, what Elaine, Benji, and what they have put together, and Peter Finn, what they've done is turned it into a little Hollywood on the side of the mountain.
Exactly, and it's such a magic.
But wait till I tell you, I've had kids coming in with special needs from special groups. I had one little group came in there. There was a lad from Afghanistan, there was a lad from Iraq, Syria, and there were some from Nigeria and some from other war-torn African countries. And there were some that were homeless from Dublin, and they all came in and they were sitting around with me and we were having a chat. Well, wait till I tell you, they were all human. They all had fingers and toes. They all had the same blood in their veins. There was no difference between them, and they all loved Santa Claus. And for me, it was one of the most emotional experiences that I had looking at these little kids. But wait, I'll tell you, Paddy, we mentioned earlier about the famine and the millions of people in Ireland. 1 million dying a month. Across Iraq and Iran and Syria at the moment, there's 11 million people. 11 million people on the move. 11 million people. And that's the pain and that's the evil that's in the world. But the challenge is for us to change that, to rise to the challenge. For every one of us to rise to the challenge. For everyone to rise and say, listen, our government needs to stand up and do something about the poverty here in Ireland. It needs to look at foreign affairs as well. And it needs not just to be cozying in with the power blocks, but to speak the truth.
I agree with you. And you've probably got my list already, and I hope you checked it twice.
I did,
right?
I tell you, and 3 times.
But what I have asked for this year is I've asked for people to be nice at the people and to educate themselves on stuff like this, because sometimes when you talk about these type of things, Santa, that people, they don't really want to listen sometimes now, so it's that's what I have asked for this year, not material thing. That's what I want.
I tell you, you're on the money, Paddy, because I tell you, we were talking about up there, one of the reindeers, one that lost its antler. And we were saying, how could we bring it back? Magic words. And we're saying,
is this the North Pole or Lugwoods?
Up at Lugwoods, but we have to fix it before we go back up to the North Pole.
We've met that reindeer and all that.
Right.
Great lad him.
Now wait till I tell you. We were saying the magic words, and they were saying abracadabra. And those, we said, no, the real magic words is words everyone knows. The real magic word is please and thanks, and showing gratitude for what we have.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Tell us a story about a scary dog. Because you go into a lot of houses.
I know.
And I know that if I knock on the wall like this, my dog goes crazy. I can only imagine what my dog Katie's going to be like when this big red suit is coming down the chimney.
Well, I tell you what, I was in a house once, just after slipping down the chimney, and I was...
What country was the house in?
I think it was down in Cork.
Oh, right. That's a country of its own.
I know, it's an independent republic down there.
Independent Republic of Cork.
And didn't I hear this bark behind me? And it was sort of, down in Cork, like, you have to speak different. When I'm down there, like, I can't be speaking, like here in Dublin, I can use a Dublin accent, but down in Cork, like, I have to speak like, well, hello there, who's that dog there now? And didn't the dog come and didn't it make a snap at me heels? And holy moly. But didn't I notice that it had a set of dentures? Yes. Because some of those Corkvilles, they're not as sharp when they leave Cork, So it had false teeth, and hadn't it taken the false teeth out of the man of the house's glass that he had left under the bed, and the dog ran in and had a set of false teeth. Well, that's
the strangest thing you've been asked for on a Christmas list, Santa?
Well, the strangest thing was, up in Lugwood, and this little fella,
even in Lugwood
came in, and I asked him, what did he want for Christmas? What would you wish to get for Christmas? And he says to me, Santa, I want an invisible suit. So I said, right-o. But I've been wondering ever since, did he get it? Since it was invisible, or would he find it? So,
I hope you give him good directions to it.
Well, I told him I'd leave it at the end of the bed. But I wonder, will he find it being invisible?
So we got slightly political here. So, how much does it cost to insure a sleigh?
Oh, well, I tell you, here in Ireland, it's mental money. But there's a fellow, the Doherty fellow up in Donegal. And up in Donegal, they're really good up there now, and they're talking about the insurance being so high, and that's Daniel O'Donnell's insurance. But anyway, for the sleigh, Pierce Doherty has done great work on the insurance thing. But I'd say to Pierce, if I was a school teacher, a lot done, a lot more to do. But seriously though, insurance is a big issue, But we still get over it. Christmas will be Christmas. We will get everything else. We'll rise above it in the sleigh.
Asking for a friend now on this question, but how would one apply to be an elf on the shelf? Like, I'm pretty good at sitting still and stuff like that. I could sit still for a few hours at a time.
Hours.
How would you apply? Where would you do your apprentice?
Well, now, locally, here in the Tala area, well, we need people that have a good sense of fun and can rise to into the situation, because you're dealing with people. So you need just like if you were in sales, or you're in, once you're dealing with customers and people, you need to have a good sense of fun, and being able to diffuse conflict, being able to actively listen with both ears. Now, when you're listening, you hear with both ears, but you listen with your brain. So you have to be able to listen to your brain and really hear what people think. So that's where, going back to the thing of being present. We have to learn how. It's an art form that we have to learn. But we start with the elves. Now, every year we get elves up in Lugwoods, up in Saggart, and they're trained up. Peter and Elaine, and they will train them up. So that's one way of doing it. And so just generally, that's the most immediate to hear.
So is that like the promotion? So when they get promoted from being, like, say, the elf that would help go around on the tractor or go around on the sleigh and stuff like that?
They come in on the big sleigh and they get a big view of Dublin, so you get to get an idea of what my view from the sleigh is. So they're coming in, they get in on that. But then there's hard work of dealing with people, or there's children coming in and they're afraid, or there's children making strange. And so you have to be able to negotiate in that situation as well. And you have to make them feel happy and think. And you might have to sing an old song, because Christmas is all about having a few songs and having a bit of crack and a bit of devilment. And sure, that's what it's about. But that's what life is about. Life is to be enjoyed. It's not just endured, it's to be enjoyed.
With a few mince pies.
A few mince pies. And now drop a porter every now and then. Helps.
Not when you're on that sleigh.
Oh, not when it's on the sleigh.
Only when I'd say you have enough alcohol for the whole year back to next Christmas by the time you get back to the North Pole.
Well, I tell you, I promised enough, but all I get now is milk. That's why they call it the Milky Way. Milk and cookies.
I know you're a busy man, Santa, so I won't hold you too long. So one more question for you, one more kind of, the boys and girls that are getting ready. I have two boys myself, and they're going to be getting ready on Christmas night, and they're going to be asking me, what should I do, where should I go, when do I do it? Have you any advice for them on Christmas Eve, what they should do?
Well, the first thing I say what they should do is relax. Because the most important thing is to know that Santa Claus is coming. And thanks to the best efforts of the mammies and daddies and all the uncles and aunts and the support systems that we have, that Santa will be there. Now, that's the guarantee. The next best thing is that they need to be in bed early. Because things have to be prepared, and it is a bit of a rush in and out for Santa Claus coming and whatever. But he will be there. But I'd say go to bed early, relax, and to tell themselves the positive thought, Christmas is happening. It's a time of goodwill. Be goodwill with your own. Infect that little circle. Then your wider community, infect them. And then the wider one in the country. And let's give her a buzz for Christmas.
So Because sometimes, am I right in saying that the schedule goes quicker and that you can arrive quicker than scheduled? So it's important that you can be in bed because you've got to wait for these boys and girls to go to sleep.
Yep. Like if you think about it, it's quite a logistical nightmare because I've to organise. Though I live in the North Pole, Christmas actually begins in the South Pole.
Okay.
So the lights. So I have to come. Get everything down to the South Pole. Then we work in through Australia, New Zealand, and work our way up into Europe, across Africa, and then way up and back up to the North Pole.
I can only imagine what that takes.
Yeah.
What do you think, Robin? What are you getting for Christmas?
Well, first of all, the best Christmas present I ever got was in '97. I got the Batmobile. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
I didn't tell anyone about that either, but you knew.
Yes, that's it. Intuitive knowledge. You know,
he knows. I must have been good that year, but
you're good every year. Don't be worrying. Look at the work you're doing here.
Thank you very much. What's your favourite Christmas movie?
My favourite Christmas movie. Well, it's a tough one. I suppose The Elf.
That's a great one.
That's a good bit of crack.
Mine would be Jingle All the Way, I have to say.
Right,
Ernie.
Jingle All the Way.
What a movie! Two great choices.
Great choices.
Are the elves like that? Are the elves like Will Ferrell in?
No, they have more intelligence.
Yeah.
What's your favourite movie, Rob?
Favourite Christmas movie? It's a tricky one. Depends on what mood I'm in. I watched Christmas Vacation there yesterday. It's alright. What's the other one? The Grinch is a good one. Nightmare Before Christmas. Do you know what I thought?
It's an old school one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I thought was a really good one when it came out? The Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Right. Yeah.
I really thought it captured the magic of what you're about.
But chilling out after Christmas, I love to watch the Blues Brothers.
Oh,
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And I also love, now going back for an old Irish movie, to get a few of them, would be The Quiet Man.
Oh, what a film.
That's a classic.
That was made in Kong, was it?
Yeah, down in Kong.
I've seen it on the 88th green is where he kisses...
Maureen O'Hara.
That's who it would have been. That's a great film.
It is a good film.
Good knock on the riverbank as well.
Yeah.
A good knock.
And do you know the fella, the Jarvey, in that film? The Jarvey was in the film, and the lad that played the parish priest or the vicar. Both of those fought in 1916 in Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there were two Protestant lads, and they both fought in 1916.
Incredible! What a film! If you haven't seen that film, make sure you check it. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's worth it. No, it is well worth a visit.
I have to ask you, last question. Who's your favourite fighter of ever? Boxing, MMA, whatever.
Well, I think it has to be Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
Great choice.
It really has. I think it was his personality.
What a great man.
And he was a good man. And I think for the work that he did afterwards, even though he was suffering and he had the old, and he had the smile and the devilment, but he also had Irish blood.
Oh, I know.
I like that. So, he had the resilience and the endurance and whatever, But you're not a bad old class fighter yourself,
I thought you were going to say that.
Lovely to see.
Absolute
Listen, thanks a million for coming. It was really nice. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for
I'm very busy.
having us
I have to get back up to Lugwoods.
I've got to
and
drop
get
you up
packed.
there now. I am.
You're very good.
And then that's going to be the next few days, and then you're in for the big business,
That's
isn't you?
in for the big one.
One more thing, Santa. We need to clear this up, right?
Yeah.
The great debate: is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Look, every movie can be a Christmas movie. I wasn't a great fan of the Die Hards. There was too much glass all over the place and banging and bare feet and fellas running around and no shoes and
You're gonna break his
Is
heart.
that no? Is that a no?
You broke his heart, Santa. You broke his heart.
Did I?
Yeah, you broke his heart.
This is the great debate. People every day, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Santa is saying...
I'm saying, I'd say, look, yes, if you're stuck.
So we just had Santa Claus on. Absolute hero of mine. I've been waiting to meet this man for a long time. I just want to say that Christmas is an amazing time, and as Santa said there, instead of the present part of it, the presence part of it is the most important thing. So when you're surrounded with your family, make sure that you're very grateful. Look at that person across the room, take that few seconds to just realise and maybe just tell that person that you don't obviously tell that, I love you. because sometimes that's what that person's looking to hear. Christmas is always a great time for people, but for a select part of people, sometimes it can be a hard time for people. So keep an eye on your mates. When you're out on Christmas parties and you're out having drinks and stuff like that, look after each other. I've been saying this all year. I say, look after yourself. I mean this more than you actually probably know. It's important to know that we're all human, and even the happy person in the room, sometimes he can be the man that you would least expect that is probably the saddest at times. So look after each other. As I said, we're not in the same situation. We're very different. We're all different people. But enjoy the time. Enjoy this little bit of peace around your families, away from work. Try to keep your phones down after you watch the podcast, of course. And enjoy this time. So I just want to say happy Christmas and thanks for all the support here. Thanks to Lugwoods for looking after Father Christmas for us, being able to supply him here today. We have to drop him back. I think he came on the back of a reindeer, but he has to go back in the back of a Jeep now. So yeah, as I said, so thanks for all the support. Continue to look after the podcast, and the podcast will help to look after you. I want to thank Robin as well, the producer, for all year, for putting so much work into this. The man is an absolute legend, and you don't know what he actually does. It's incredible. It could not happen without him. So happy Christmas from the Holohan household. Happy Christmas from the No Shame household, and look after yourself.